Yo, what up? Recently I've been watching a lot of Iceberg videos, and I thought, hey, I could do that, and well, here I am. For those who don't know, Iceberg videos start off at surface level knowledge, and the further down the iceberg you go, the more obscure and ominous the entries get. So basically, up top it's wah wah baby knowledge, and the further down you go, it's what the fuck is this, honestly? There's already a Brawlhalla Iceberg made by 99 Left Balloons, but I made my own iceberg list for this video, with the help of people in my Discord server. Now, let it be known I have taken a few entries from that iceberg, but most of these entries are my own. Also, I should mention this video is more audio than visual, so do something. Go on a walk, play a game, do some chores, I don't care. Brawlhalla is just a Smash Brothers clone. Oh man, where do I even begin? This is just about everyone's first impression of Brawlhalla, and just from looking at it, I can't even blame them because I was guilty of that too. I mean, they're both fighter games that rely more on platforming and knocking them off the stage, but the gameplay for each game is very different. So is Brawlhalla a Smash Brothers clone? Well, that depends on your opinion, and how broad your definition of Smash Brothers clone is. Personally, I don't think so. PS4 exclusive items. There are items you can only get on the PlayStation version of Brawlhalla by buying the Founders Pack. So if you're on PlayStation, lucky you. Pretty self-explanatory entry. Yellow man bad. Ugh. This is a saying that the Brawlhalla hive mind has made into a meme, targeting Orion, a legend that's very spammy in nature and easy to play because of it. This saying has been coined by Schwerpy, a Brawlhalla YouTuber, and if you main Orion, odds are you're very used to hearing it, and you have my sympathy. Twitch rewards. The Brawlhalla Twitch channel rewards you generously for watching their streams. Some of the items are skins, weapon skins, and taunts already available in the store, while others are exclusive to the Twitch streams, like the Avatar Cape Taunt and esports colors. Others more rare, like... You may think if you missed a live stream you can't get the rewards, but... Have you checked eBay? Crossovers. Some of the skins in Brawlhalla are crossovers from other shows and games. The list of crossovers include a bunch of Cartoon Network shows like Adventure Time and Steven Universe, and some others like WWE, Twice, Hellboy, and The Walking Dead? Okay, what the? The skins sell for 300 mammoth coins, which is about $12. The only exception is Gurugok, who has an insane discount of 240 mammoth coins. They did my boy Gurugok dirty. If you ask me how I felt about the crossovers, I say I don't really care about them mostly, it's just part of the game, but it really does paint Brawlhalla to be a kid's game, which... Wait a minute. Oh my god, it totally is. Delight Sair. Delight Sair is a combo in the game that anyone new to the game and wanting to get better at will be told about. This combo works with most weapons in the game and is considered to be the bread and butter combo for all skill levels. Mordex mains. Finishing off the Sky layer, we have the most abundant type of player in the game, Mordex mains. Mordex is a legend with Scythe and Gauntlets, two of the most popular weapons in the game, and he boasts a pretty nasty signature kit, so pro players play him a lot basically, which is probably why he's the most abundant legend pick in the whole game. That and, other reasons.
That shit look like the
Battle Pass. It's basically a given at this point. If you're playing a free game, it's gonna have a Battle Pass. They work exactly as you expect them to, where you pay money to do quests and unlock exclusive items. Stalker. Oh man, this is a juicy one. Brawlhalla only has one unfinished legend that we know of. Stalker is a legend with lance and guitars and would have totally pissed people off to fight against. Her 6 are mostly unfinished, but you can get the general idea of what they were supposed to be just from looking at them. It's been 4 years since Stalker has made an official appearance, and I feel like BMG has either forgotten about her, or is trying to sweep her under the rug. It's a shame really, I would have loved to play her. Mods. Did you know you can mod the PC version of Brawlhalla pretty heavily? Yeah, and it's not that hard either. Since the game was coded in Flash, it's very easy to do, well, pretty much anything. You can change the maps you play, the characters you play, there's a bunch of good ones out there, and some that even give you unfair advantages. But hey, what can you do, that's just a game. Dexterity is useless. Alright, so Brawlhalla has 4 stats, right? Strength, speed, defense, and dexterity. Pretty easy to pinpoint what each stat does. Strength makes your attacks do more damage and knockback, speed makes you faster, defense makes you take less damage and knockback, so what the fuck does dexterity do? Oh, Well, dexterity is advertised to lower the recovery times of your moves all across the board, and that's sorta true, but to such a small degree that it's not even worth it. The only reason to ever use Dex Dance is that if it gives you a true combo, otherwise untrue, and those currently aren't in the game at this point. If you're playing a low dex legend and feel super slow, sorry to tell you, but it's placebo. This stat is a dumpster fire of uselessness, and that's the whole reason you see legends like Jiro at F tier. If not for the horrendous stat lineup, he would be average. I still use Dex Stance on Thatch though, it's kind of OP. Nyx is female. Alright, I know this is a no-duh entry on the iceberg, but there are a bunch of people who think Nyx is a dude. When I first started playing, I also thought Nyx was a dude, and I got my mind blown when I learned she wasn't. Delight Nair grounded. Shh. If you're real quiet, you can hear the collective groans of all the Gauntlet players. Delight Nair grounded on Gauntlets is one of the hardest inputs in the game. I say one of because I know there's Brawlhalla Melvins out there who are like, well actually, have you tried the Fangwild Hammer combo? Yes I have, and this is harder. Delight Nair grounded is a lot like the Russian Mafia, where you have to do a D-Light, and the frame you can, you jump, chase dodge forward, and instead of using a recovery like with Hammer, you input a Gauntlet Nair. The window for this is very tight, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was frame perfect. It's very easy to do mid-air because you don't have to input the jump, and instead you can just instantly chase dodge forwards. If you main Gauntlets, good luck in the training room for the next 40 hours trying to get it down.
Get ready, Steven. This is gonna be intense.
Alright, tier 3. I gotta make a good impression on the people watching this video, so what entries are we gonna see? Oh no, it's gonna be one of those icebergs, isn't it? Thatch fucked the ocean. Yeah, this is canonically true, but it doesn't stop there, no. Thatch didn't just fuck the ocean, he conceived a child with it, and that child is currently top tier. Reno was gonna have Greatsword. Yeah, imagine what that would have been like. In the making of Reno, the concept art for him clearly shows him with a greatsword, and eventually the developers decided to pivot towards giving him Orb. Animation swap. The good old cursed image generator. In the character selection screen, if you press two opposite directions at the same time, you can get a pretty funny glitch where the preview screen uses the model of one character, while having the animations of another. The bug's still in the game, despite BMG knowing about it for a couple of years. Maybe they thought it was too funny to patch out. The Brawlhalla Pack Mystery Disappearance. Ooh. Up until a couple years ago, there was more than just the overpriced collector's edition always in the DLC store. The Brawlhalla Pack cost $15 and gave you a cool insignia along with a steampunk sidekick and a bunch of discounted mammoth coins. For some reason, it just got taken down from the store and hasn't reappeared since. I didn't know this was a thing until researching the PS4 Founders Pack thinking they were the same thing. I have no clue if you can even still get that pack, but whatever. Throlk. In Brawlhalla's infancy, Nash used to be named Throlk, and his name got changed not long after. A similar thing happened to Volst, except instead of being Nash's old name, it was Orion's. Image Render Tool Tech. The Image Render Tool is used to rip high-quality images straight from the game's files for whatever you want. I have a few gripes with it, one being that you just break your game when you use it. That's because the developer behind the render tool isn't working with BMG anymore, but that's not what this entry is about. You can use the image render tool to see a bunch of things otherwise impossible to see. If you want to see a new legend in holiday colors or esports v2, you can do that. So yeah, overall a great tool, but still needs some work. Yeti Taros is the only rare skin left in the game. Every skin in the game you could get one way or another, be it from Brawlhalla streams or just straight up buying them. Every skin except one. The Yeti is a t-shirt brand, and they worked with Brawlhalla to pump out some bussin' drip. Along with the shirts came a little card with a code for an exclusive Yeti Taros skin. So yeah, pretty cool flex if you own this skin. Otherwise, you can just buy it on eBay for 50 bucks. Soda Taunt. A couple of years ago, Brawlhalla hosted some stupid Mountain Dew G Fuel whatever the event where you could unlock some special colors that are kind of irrelevant because you could just buy them on eBay. Duh. But the main cream pie is where you get a Soda Taunt, where you just chug a soda. Yeah, not that cool, but it's a rare taunt, and it hasn't resurfaced as a Twitch reward yet, so who knows, maybe I own a collector's item. Probably not, but I can hope. Also, during this time, it was a cursed time. They implemented double gravity cancel. Yeah, good job, BMG. Good times back then they were. Alright, from this point on, no more baby knowledge. There's probably more entries on this layer that you don't know than you do, but that won't stop some people from flexing their superior knowledge in the comments anyways. Test legends. Before going deeper down the iceberg, I feel it's necessary to talk about 3 test legends that exist in the game's files. These legends exist as placeholders and can't be seen in the game by normal means. One is just a regular dude with blue hair and a glazed look in his eye, like he's just worked the night shift at a 7-Eleven. His name's Brawl Boy, and he was actually a mascot for the game for a while until Bodvar took his place. This one is... They also have a gem or something on their forehead. And finally, this last one is actually pretty cool looking. I remember seeing it during the canon reveal way back. Going down the iceberg, you'll see these guys a lot, so the only place I can put this entry is right here. Unfinished weapons. You've heard of the unfinished legend, but what about the unfinished weapons? Yeah, bet you never thought of that one, huh? So anyways, there's one unfinished weapon. Actually, arguably 3, depending on your opinion. One was a katana that would have been held with 2 hands. Sword? 2 hands? Yeah, sound familiar? This concept eventually became greatsword. Another was a rocket launcher type weapon. This one's a little bit of a stretch, but I think this eventually turned into canon. The most interesting of these weapons is a rifle type weapon that actually had its own idle and movement animations made. Considering the other 2 weapons got implemented eventually, it makes you think that this one will have its day. I mean, if we got greatsword, why can't we get great blasters, am I right? The redesigns. You're probably familiar with the recent Thatch and Sentinel redesigns. Heck, you're probably even familiar with the Zol redesign. But they weren't the only characters to get makeovers. Legends like Lucian, Nash, and Orion got small touch-ups, while others got nuked time and time again, like Cassidy. Oh my God! Or Scarlet. Drax got angrier, Ada used to be Goku, Bodvar was orange, and Roland got changed. Somewhere. Really, what the hell? It's like I'm playing Spot the Difference over here. They're the same. This video by Brawlhalla Skin Showcase was a godsend for this entry, and I can't be more thankful. Go check them out. Cassidy Twilight 0 to Death combo. There is a whole ass combo that kills from 0% damage. On Twilight, Cassidy, from this position, can do whatever this is. And yeah, notice how it only has 2 dodge frames. Anyways, you do a D-light into side light, chase dodge forwards, end light, dodge down diagonally and to the right, dare, and do a recovery. And if you did it right, you get a free kill. It's only possible on Cassidy due to her high dex.
Oh, wait a minute, didn't you just get finished talking about how dex...
Instant ground pound tech. Alright, listen up and listen up close. A lot of pro players like to call guns bad, but they don't carry hyper-condensed neutron star balls everywhere they go. The instant ground pound tech is arguably the biggest flex in the game, and it emanates sheer dominance whoever can land it. There are 2 ways to do an instant ground pound. One requires a hard set of inputs, while the other requires frame-perfect timing. Not very easy, actually. The input version requires you to space yourself in this general ballpark near the edge. Backdash, and as you're beginning to slide off the edge due to momentum, forward dash and ground pound. The other way is to jump. You can fastball, that's optional. And the frame before you land, ground pound. It's definitely easier, but it still needs insane timing. It also works on Greatsword and Cannon, kinda. Volkov is Caspian's grandpa. Oh, you thought Thatch and Mako were the only fighters related by blood? Nah, you're mistaken. Caspian is 1/2 vampire, with his grandpappy being Volkov. Caspian calls him Gramps casually, which is kinda wholesome. Unlock FPS. Unlock FPS is a command that you put in the launch options of Brawlhalla to make your game run about 2 FPS faster. It doesn't hurt to use this command, that's for sure. Except when it randomly crashes your game. Whoops. Orion has the most skins. Yeah, this is just a fun fact. He boasts a total of 12 full skins, including default. Come on, man, save a little for the rest of us. Yeah! Bodvar is the only human still alive in Valhalla. Oh wow, this layer has 2 lore entries. Anyways, this entry used to be Bodvar is the only one still alive in Brawlhalla. Then the people in my Discord were like, what about Rayman? What about Thor? And so on. So I just said, fuck it, and changed this entry. So how Valhalla is supposed to work is that if you die in battle, the Valkyries get to decide if you're worthy of Valhalla. But since Bodvar is just built different, he kicked the doors down and let himself in. Therefore, he's still alive. But I guess this entry is somewhat of a lie because Bodvar's half a bear, but then what do I call this entry? I can't be like Bodvar's the only half human, half bear still alive in Valhalla. This is a mess. Oh shit, layer 4 went by that quick? Here's layer 5. This layer is more of the history side of Brawlhalla, so get ready for it. Mordex was foreshadowed way in advance. All the way back when Diana was released, a little tidbit of her lore raised a few eyebrows. It mentioned a character by the name of Mordex, and how Diana was peeved that they let someone like him in Valhalla. Ever since that point, BMG had been teasing us, and they eventually did release Mordex along with a cool avatar. The same type of thing happened to Fate and Isaiah's lore, but it was nothing more than just a name drop. Unused taunts. Yeah, there's a whole treasure trove of unused taunts in this game. Some are actually character specific, like this cool one for Bodvar, or this one for Sir Roland, or... oh, Scarlet. Yeah, alright, I see why they scrapped this idea. But a few would have been normal taunts for everyone. Like this taunt doing like a few motion. Or this one where it's actually a cheesy freeze frame from an 80s sitcom movie. This one yelling out in pain and agony. And there's also this one. Look familiar? This taunt has been unused for 6 years now, and it actually resurfaced last year as the 5th anniversary taunt. Yeah, that's right, I bought the taunt. You wanna know why? Because it's gonna be a collector's item, I swear. Why would they ever sell a 5th anniversary taunt ever again? Exactly. Case closed, I didn't waste my money, shut up. There's also this potential charity taunt still in the game to this day. You just take a knee, it's kind of boring. That's probably why it's still unused. Chain dodging. Dash wasn't always a thing. A few years ago, it used to be this thing called chain dodging, and it fucking sucked. If you were at top speed, you could basically do 3 chase dodges in a row, which led to very passive play. Thankfully, BMG took note of this, and slowly over the course of 6-ish months, they made dash into a feature, causing a lot of controversy at the time, but it was desperately needed. The game would have sucked otherwise. Gadget. You've heard of unfinished legends, you've heard of unfinished weapons, but have you heard of legends that have been removed from the game? Yeah, Gadget was in an official build of the game way back in Alpha. This footage is from the official Brawlhalla YouTube channel back in 2014, and it's all I got because it was a pain in the ass to research Gadget, because if you Google Brawlhalla Gadget, you just get spike balls and shit. Design-wise, she looks like Ada and Scarlet had a baby, so she probably ended up just getting split into Ada and Scarlet, but that's just speculation. Default signatures. So training mode is cursed. You can give legends weapons that don't belong to them in training mode fairly easily by just switching your character in training mode, then go into frame step and rewind. Eventually they'll get the weapon with default weapon skins. Since they aren't meant to be seen, they look... Anyways, you can actually use SIGs with these weapons, and since these legends don't have SIGs with these weapons, the game failsafes into using the dev SIGs for the weapons. Some are boring, like Axe and Cannon using Teros's and Sidra's respectively, but others are way more interesting, like Gun Side Sig being reused with Cross way later down the line, and Sword D-Sig being Val's. Gauntlet gets a slightly modified unarmed kit, Scythe literally gets unarmed kit, and Hammer, yeah, look at that stun. Oh, it's still going? Any day now, whenever you feel like it. Yeah, that's 300 frames of stun. Words can't describe these SIGs well enough, so just look at them. Old Cannon. Cannon got drastically reworked back near the end of 2019, changing most of its moveset to be more kablammy and cannon-like instead of just a giant slappy tube. Changing the hitboxes and how the weapon works slightly. The change was for the better, right? Right? Sadly, this change was the nail in the coffin for a lot of the Cannon players who actually existed back then. Cannon already was the least played weapon back then as it was, and this rework only made less people interested in the weapon. Personally, I have no problem with how the weapon plays, but it does need a few buffs. The original crossover. You probably think this entry is talking about Shovel Knight, huh? Well, you're wrong. This crossover predates even the crossover tab on the store. Oh, what could it possibly be that Rano Wusheng? It's Rano Wusheng. Like, come on, do I even need to play it up? The Frogman himself. The backstory behind it's pretty interesting too. Rivals of Aether and Brawlhalla had some Twitter beef, and they made a bet that whichever Twitter gets more followers during a period of time gets to put their character in the other game. And, since Brawlhalla is free and Rivals of Aether isn't... yeah... But since BMG are good sports like that, they'd put Rano Wusheng in the game anyways. Plants wall sliding. Pretty much every layer up to this point has had a tech entry, so what's the tech entry of this layer gonna be? Whatever this is. If you do a reverse Sarah or a dare off a wall, just as you're about to touch it, you get no startup frames on either of the moves. Dare only has 1 frame of active hitboxes though. This tech is actually easier to pull off than instant ground pound, but I feel like less people know about this one, which is why it's lower on the list. Walker zombies are Nashkins. Alright, picture this. It's 12 o'clock midnight and you're playing around in the image render tool to see which character has the most skins so you can make a hypothetical iceberg entry for a hypothetical iceberg video. You get the Nash and you see this.
Oh my goodness! Squidward!
So, what is this? What's happening here? Well, along with the Walking Dead crossover came a game mode nobody ever played, a common theme with these crossovers by the way, and in this game mode you kill zombies or something. I've never actually bothered playing it. It can only be played with you and 1 other person. That's because as far as the game's concerned, the zombies are players, and as you know, there can only be a maximum of 8 players in any game. Because of that, there will only ever be 6 zombies on the screen at a time. Think of it like this, you're not fighting zombies, you're fighting a bunch of dead Nashes. Eerie, isn't it? It's pretty weird how they decided to code a game mode like that, but I'm the bigger loser for dissecting a fucking Brawlhalla Walking Dead crossover game mode this in-depth. I guess that means what I said about Orion having the most skins is technically wrong, even if these skins are unobtainable. Oh well, nobody cares. Artemis was broken, and by broken I mean the most literal sense of the word and not just assault bait. Yeah, look at this! How did this even happen, BMG? What did you do? So, about a year ago, a patch got released. It doesn't even matter what was in the patch, I think it was Onyx. It had nothing to do with Artemis, and yet somehow they broke her Scythe and Sig, causing her charge-up animation to just not work and send her flying instead. This bug wasn't in the game for just a day. There was a whole week where this was possible in Brawlhalla's history. It did make for some fun clips though, so maybe there will be a legend who does exactly this, but actually intentional instead of just a buggy mess. Server browser. Yeah, so Brawlhalla has a server browser where you can join public lobbies. That's all. So why is this entry so low on the iceberg then? Well, when's the last time you used a server browser? I've gone my whole Brawlhalla career without knowing about it until a Battle Pass mission said play games from the server browser, and I was like, what? Nobody uses it either, it's the most obscure mechanic in the game. Spear hate. So, BMG hasn't been so kind to Spear. Not only is it one of the weaker standalone weapons, but BMG seems to constantly nerf it as well. I get that Spear is supposed to be an easy beginner weapon, and sure the nerfs don't mean too much, but try to recall the last Spear legend that came out. No, go on, just think. It was Dusk! 3 years ago! I'd honestly be more surprised if the new legend isn't Greatsword Spear than if it is. A new Spear legend is long overdue, and this is way worse than it taking 1 year and 10 months between Yumiko and Thor. Old Black. This entry is just explaining how in alpha and early beta, black used to be more of a dark purple with purple highlights instead of the black and red you're familiar with. On the Iron Legion Zulskin and a few others, if you use black you can actually see remnants of this, as the splotch that would be red is purple. I guess anything that could be interpreted as blood in this game is a big no-no, go figure. This color scheme actually made a slight comeback in the form of Gala colors. Gala is this exact color scheme with a bit of white added for good measure. Stevani is pay to win. This is Val's Gauntlet side sig. Notice how well fleshed out the animation is. The charge up shows a clear direction in which it's headed. A good, clear sig, right? Now look at the same sig on Stevani, a crossover skin for Val. Wait, what's the point of this? It should be the exact same legend with no changes at all, right?
Oh, you'd think so, wouldn't ya?
Pop quiz time. Which direction is the sig headed? Go on, you can tell, right? Oh, you don't know. Yeah, well imagine how not knowing which direction she's facing can make you lose a game. Now imagine you're in a pro tourney or something and that happens to you. Just food for thought. The MetaDev Incident 2020. Do not research. Oh, here we go. The single worst decision BMG has made, and part of the reason I wanted to make an Iceberg video in the first place. History lesson time. Back during BCX 2020, since there was a whole pandemic, BMG had to improvise. Twitch rewards were just budding at this point, and what they decided to do was press the big red button marked "Do Not Press" and make the MetaDev skins the main reward. The MetaDev skins. Plural. Not just the new skin for that BCX year and the one from last year. All of them, making their rarity go from mythical to downright uncommon in the process, since these streams garnered about 100,000 viewers a pop. Before this, the only way to get a MetaDev skin was to go in person to a BCX event and meet a dev, thus the name. Get it? MetaDev, meet a dev, whatever. BMG doesn't care about that and threw that whole concept out the window. And of course, people who got their MetaDev skins this way were
absolutely livid.
And after enough nagging, hit commentator and hypebeast Foda himself had the ingenious idea to give the people who owned a MetaDev skin before this something special. Not bad, right? You know, patching some holes, fixing up the drama and whatnot. You see, what he decided was that all the previous owners get a special title. That's all. That's all you get for meeting a developer in the flesh. MetaDev Orion used to sell for $500 on eBay. Now it's only about $3. Genuine sadness. Different factions in Brawlhalla. Here it is, the entry I had to make a whole other diagram for. Woohoo. Yeah, Brawlhalla's Tangle earbuds, it likes to call lore, have a whole set of factions some characters associate with. I didn't put much lore entries in this iceberg so it could all culminate in this single entry. I probably got some details wrong here, but I'm just one guy who read the lore of literally everyone, so give me a break. Starting off with the Order of the Exalted Lion, it's also coincidentally the theme of this season's Battle Pass. It's a super top secret group of monster hunters and whatnot, actually pioneered by Jala of all people. It has familiar faces like Diana and Roland. A huge person of interest is Mordex. Yeah, he was actually in the Exalted Lion until he decided he wasn't about that life and became a furry. The Iron Legion is an army of some sort. It's actually kind of a mystery what they fought for. It was led by Zol in its prime. Scarlet knew the leader of the Cabal, Cabal with an A, Dr. Evilstein, who mainly spent his days as Sentinel's rival or something until Sentinel died. Or something. And his reign went all the way into the future that Vector came from. Or something. And then time travel happened or something, and now they're best buddies. Or something. Anyways, here we have the Fangweld group, which may or may not include Yumiko, it was kind of unclear. But it does include Dusk, who was a member of the Elven King's Guard until he started an attack on Asgard with a bunch of golems like Kor. Asgard kicked the elves' asses and claimed the golems for themselves, and Elf King Man was not pleased to hear the news and banished Dusk to Fangweld, where he then maybe killed Ember, probably. And since then, Thor and Olgrim have been big chillin' in Asgard with their new rocky pets. Down in Atlantis, you have some pretty obvious ones like Sidra, Thatch, and Mako, but Mirage also spent some time in Atlantis too when she was younger. The Batavia Kingdom is the main reason the Exalted Lion exists. They're always butting heads, and it was ruled by Volkov until he died. Caspian wanted nothing to do with it and left the second he could. Onyx and Magyar guarded the castle idly, and Azoth probably did something, I think, maybe. Anyways, Valhalla had its own band with Fate, Olgrim, Isaiah, and Ada. Speaking of, the Myers Baby Food Corporation, genuinely the most evil and fucked up organization here. You see this symbol on her shirt? That's what it means. Anyways, the MBFC mass-produced androids like Val and Ada, causing a Mad Max-like apocalypse where Barraza came from, and maybe Yumiko has more to do with it than let on, since her Season 2 Battle Pass skin, well, there it fucking is. Maybe she just bought MBFC brand headphones or something. I have no clue. Whew, oh my god, what a mouthful. And I doubt you even retained anything I just said. I could have talked out my ass for 3 minutes and you'd be none the wiser. But I didn't, because I care about quality. There won't be another entry nearly that long on the iceberg though, so rest easy. Alright boys, we're finally off the iceberg. I'm sure every entry from now on is gonna be insanely cryptic and ominous and very serious. Oh god damn it! Queen Knight X Sentinel. Do I really have to explain it? Yes? This would be a very shitty iceberg if I didn't. Alright, Fuck! From my understanding, it all started a year or two ago on the Brawlhalla subreddit. Someone just made fan art of Queen Nine Sentinel, and from that point onward, I guess it just stuck. It makes no sense why these two characters with absolutely nothing to do with each other are together, but never mind. I'll go insane trying to dissect the Brawlhalla subreddit. Just move on to the next entry. I'm gonna go take a shower. Proto-Magyar. Every character needs to go through a development process. They don't just magically come into existence. Magyar's development phase was especially rocky. They went through a bunch of renditions, one where they had 4 arms, orb, and axe. That would have been pretty interesting, actually. But the most interesting rendition for me was one where Magyar would have just been a fucking anime girl with a dress of souls. Kick ass, right? Considering there's nobody even remotely like that in-game and already a ton of armored supersuit knight theme looking asses, which one do you think would be cooler? It's a shame it never happened, but I'm holding out hope for the future. White Fang Nash was Loot Crate exclusive. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Back when Loot Crate was a thing, yeah, remember that? They gave out their own skin for Brawlhalla, White Fang Nash. It was practically impossible to obtain back in the day unless you were subscribed to Loot Crate. The skin was just as rare, if not rarer than the meta devs were, and it's how Defensive made his identity back when he was still uploading. Anyways, since Loot Crate did the thing it's known for, going out of business, BMG made White Fang Nash a chest exclusive skin instead, so it's almost rare now. Thunderguard Stadium Negative Emotional Aura. Okay. This is one I feel very strongly about, because for some reason, whenever I play Brawlhalla, I just kinda wanna stop whenever I get put in Thunderguard. You know, it's just such a weird feeling stage. It feels almost bullshit, I guess, and I don't know. It feels, again, like there's a negative emotional aura there that I can't really explain. It just feels so weird. Alright, there's the Mario 64 iceberg meme for the video. Every good iceberg has one, but seriously, f this map, I hate it. It's the worst thing in the game, and I would Special K. And no, not the cereal. Remember back in Layer 1 when I was talking about mods that give you unfair advantages? Well, if you think blurred backgrounds and map mods are unfair, then you really won't like what this mod is. Special K is a mod that straight up reduces your input lag. How it does this is making your GPU send data to the display faster, somehow. It says right on the tin to be the equivalent of having a high refresh rate monitor without having to buy one. I'm not a fucking computer scientist, so take what I say with a grain of salt. What I do know, however, is that a side effect of this mod is that it crashes your game. A lot. Some pro players have been caught using it, and Foda himself said they were going to tighten their strictness when it comes to mod leniency. This mod has been very polarizing in the pro player community. Some think it's cheating, and others think it's evening the playing field. Personally, I don't give a fuck, it's not my problem. Ranked 3v3. Besides being a cursed game mode and joked about a lot, what business does this have being so far down the iceberg? Well, it will happen in the near future. With special game modes being in the ranked playlist each new season, it's bound to happen, and it genuinely sounds fun. Account linking won't likely ever happen. If you're holding out for account linking to happen eventually so you can transfer all of that PS4 drip you accumulated to PC or something like that, yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, but it won't happen. You want to know how I know this? Because of this little button right here. Seems harmless, right?
Wrong!
The redeem code button works for every platform, but one, iOS. Yeah, if you play Brawlhalla on iOS, then I'm sure you've noticed this. So, what gives? Why is this the only platform where you can't redeem a code? Short answer, Apple is greedy. Long answer, by having a redeem code system in your game, it bypasses the need for purchases to be made through the App Store, and therefore it means Apple's pockets don't get any bigger from the exchange. And that's the whole reason, woohoo! But what does that have to do with account linking? Well, if you think about it, you could deduce why pretty easily, but by being able to link accounts, that's another way of bypassing the need for the Apple Store, and also gives a means of redeeming a code itself. So yeah, if you thought it was Sony's greed which prevented account linking, nope, it's Apple. Honestly, why even go through the trouble of having crossplay on all platforms if it means you have to jump through so many hoops like this only for a few extra players? Well, here we are, the final layer. We've come so far, and I would just like to say,
Get on with it.
Yes! Get on with it!
Experimental Q has hit an ELO. That's right, you can't escape Drank no matter what game mode you play. The reason for this is to make the game more balanced to your skill level and match you up with similar people. This doesn't work though because I somehow get pitted against gold cores and experimental though, so it's not perfect. I just find it funny that some people are probably like 2200 in experimental but hard stuck plat and ranked because of nerves. 4 weapon legends. Wow, this entry is deceptively juicy. I'm sure you looked at this entry and was like, psh, yeah, back in alpha, all 4 weapons could be used by every legend. Everybody knew that. I saw that in an Egg Soup video, and dismissed this entry as bland, boring, and undeserving of being in the void tier. But it goes deeper than that. Much, much deeper. You see, signatures were also in the game in alpha, but they worked way differently from how they work today. Each weapon's heavy attack kit used the same moves for all legends. They used what are called the
default signatures.
Whoa, wait a minute, I know what those are. Yes, you do, because I'm a great teacher. But instead of being a buggy mess due to time, they actually looked... Okay, they still looked horrible, but they were functional. I failed to mention it in the default signatures entry, but I'm sure you noticed this. Unless you're an audio-only listener, that's cool too. But I only showed 2 SIGs per weapon, side SIG and down SIG. There's a big reason for this. Neutral SIGs just don't work. At first I was baffled at why this was and shrugged it off due to the game being coded by orangutans who hit their heads as babies. But there was actually a reason behind this. There was a point in time in the game where each legend got 4 unique SIGs, 1 per weapon. I'll flash them on screen while I continue talking, by the way. And you know how you activated these SIGs? I'll give you one guess. Neutral SIG. It was neutral SIG. Yeah, neutral SIG completely replaced all the neutral default SIGs in the game, and even still today all the default end SIGs are lost to time. Ah, so that's the 4 weapon legend entry. You know, not as juicy as I thought, but there's more. Legends like Hattori, Roland, and even Lucian were all in the development phase with this 4 weapon archetype in mind, and they actually got pretty far in development before the plug got pulled. Look at all these juicy SIGs that could have been. So that's the 4 weapon legend entry. You know, actually pretty juicy. But there's even more! Eventually, as you're hopefully familiar with, each legend had their ability to wield 4 weapons removed in favor of unique weapon combos. But the conversion for each legend from 4 weapons to only 2 was bumpy to say the least. We could have lived in a universe where Orion has gun sword, or Thatch has lance, or Lord Brax has lance. But eventually it all got sorted out and we ended up with the legends we know and love today. Some remnants of each legend's 4 weapon past actually still live on to this day in the item shop. You see this hammer? These guns? They look awfully Roland-like. Well, that's because they are! Boom! Big reveal! They were designed weapons for Roland back in the default days. You can tell they're unfinished because the blasters have no color swaps to this day, and nobody ever noticed or mentioned it to BMG. Come on, you can't tell me that's intentional. The hammer has color swaps. Kinda. So I think they just forgot to implement them and never did. These lance and blaster skins are Hattori's. This hammer was Thatch's. These sword skins were actually weapon skins for these Lucian skins back when he was gonna have sword. And finally, these guns are Snake Charmer knives. Big Knife. This is just a super top secret dev design for a Mako skin that never was. Don't ask how I got it. Notice how cool it is. The greatsword is just a giant knife, and, you know, if you don't think that's cool, I don't want to ever talk to you again. Also, she pulled a Magyar and got impaled by a spear. So, yeah, just a pretty cool lighthearted entry to counterbalance that behemoth of an entry the last one was. The Nick crossovers only exist to promote Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I mean, think about it. Why would they agree to a crossover event with a fighting game when they're just going to announce their own fighting game not even a month after? There's only one reason for this I can see. They're trying to steal Brawl's clout. It makes sense. Brawlhalla is the most popular fighting game right next to Smash Bros, so I don't know. Just a fun little conspiracy theory for you to think about. To hell and back. This achievement. This fucking achievement. There's a reason only 0.1% of the player base have this achievement. To hell and back entails you reach Wave 26 of Horde mode, the game mode that came along with the Hellboy crossover. And as it turns out, this is fucking impossible. Well, at least for me and a few of my friends, we grinded this for about 2 hours until we gave up. Our best wave was 25 before we...
Bro. 24.
If you see your teammate doing their own thing, let them do their thing.
I need help, please. Oh, I'm so scared, dude.
Wait for the second yellow wave.
Alright, not bad, not bad.
Almost. Okay, kill.
Oh, no, not.
The best part is that most of those 0.1% probably got the achievement the unintended way. Yeah, by simply watching a replay of somebody who did get to wave 26, it gave you the achievement. To this day, it's the only achievement I don't own, and I don't think my friends want to help me get it anytime soon. The real reason Rayman isn't getting skins. As much as I'd like to believe BMG wants to forget the whole Rayman crossover was a thing, there's actually a pretty big reason Rayman hasn't gotten a single skin since its release. Legal troubles! Yay! Rayman was put in the game in 2018, and since then, the creator of Rayman, Michael Ansel, retired to become a jungle man instead in a wildlife sanctuary. And, you know, since he retired, who's given BMG the green light to make any Rayman skins? Who's in charge of Rayman? Why haven't we seen a single Rayman game in literal years? Rayman is in a sort of legal limbo right now. Nobody can do anything with the IP, except Nintendo, with its Rabbids. So, if and when that gets sorted out, we'll start seeing more Rayman skins, but until then, well, you already know. Northern Lion skins. So, back when Brawlhalla was in its juvenile days, but not so far back where it's as cursed as the other entries on this berg, Brawlhalla actively spoke out to its community and built pretty strong bonds with the player base. Brawlhalla held pseudo-tournaments with the community where the winners got the ability to make whatever skin they wanted a reality. Yeah, pretty insane. That's why you see skins like Vixen Ada, or the most legendary skin in the game. Or, yikes. There are actually some skins that could have been from these community tournaments, but they never got fleshed out. I'm probably the only person in the world who has this fun Brawlhalla fact on standby, so this entry is a pretty special place in my heart. I'm sure you're familiar with the egg himself, 5,000 hours in the Binding of Isaac, husband, father of one, and most importantly, Twitch streamer. Northern Lion actually participated in these community tournaments with a bunch of his friends, and after winning, he had the opportunity to put a skin he wanted in the game. But being the mega Chad he is, he declined putting a skin in the game due to not wanting to mess up what the game had going at the time. God, I wish I could find the stream where he explained all this, but alas, it's buried underneath the tens of thousands of hours of streams, and I'm just running off a recollection. I'll put it in the pinned comment if someone can find it. I respect Northern's restraint, but it does make me wonder what could have been. And there it is, the whole Brawlhalla Iceberg explained from start to finish. You can click off the video now, I'm not going to drag it out with some long conclusion, but what I am going to say is I poured my heart and soul into this video, so if you could, you know, do the things like comment, subscribe, whatever, that would really make my day.